Hello, friend. I want to hop on here today and talk about feeling lost in your 20s, something I've felt almost constantly. So, a bit about me and my backstory. I was ranked top 3 in the country at my best in my sport in my early 20s. I was a 2-time All-American, breaking records, going to championships, all of that good stuff. And then I had a career-ending injury that pulled me away from the sport, kind of forced me to take a look at my life and what I wanted to do moving forward. So I did what any college student, athlete, wannabe business person did, and I went to strategy consulting. So I worked at one of the biggest firms in the world, working with some of the biggest clients in the world, federal agencies, banks, CPG companies, retail, you name it. I was working in those industries. And then I quit that 6-figure job to go out on my own and build a marketing agency, something I've wanted to do, since I was a little kid, following my dad around, who's a small business entrepreneur. So I want to make this video to kind of give you 5 things that I've learned through this journey and things that I wish I knew when I was 20 years old when I started out. So if you're feeling lost right now, stick around. I'm going through all 5, and I don't claim to know everything. This is just from my experience, what's helped me, and where I've learned the most. So number 1 is do one thing at a young age until you reach success. So I say that because this is going to teach you everything you need to know of how to achieve something remarkable in any industry and anything you do moving forward. So for me, that was track and field, that was athletics. And when I dove in, I was not in the best headspace. There was a lot of things going on in my family, in school, different things like that, and I needed an escape. So it wasn't the most healthy thing in the world to dive into athletics like I did, but it gave me an outlet and it gave me a training ground to learn what it was going to take to be successful. So when I say that, I made the decision to go all in on track and field. And what did that mean? That meant going home and studying. I'll actually give you where the origin was and how this started. My coach in college, or my coach in high school, looked at me when I was training one day, and in front of the entire team, he said, "Hey man, you're looking fat. You look like you need to go figure your stuff out, trim down, hit the gym," whatever it was. And dude, I was ashamed. I had no clue where to start, what to do. So I actually went home that night and I studied everything I could on nutrition. How do I need to turn things around? What do I need to be eating throughout the day? As the average fiend on bodybuilding.com, trying to read every single article I could find. And then I found a local gym that trained athletes, made friends with the gym owners, started shadowing them, started going in, every day of the week to train. And then I was studying film in my sport and understanding how to improve my technique. What could I do? So that was the origin of all of this. And then from there, I knew, okay, now it's just going to take daily habits stacked up over a long period of time to reach any sort of success in this sport. So what did that look like day to day? I was waking up at 5 a.m., going to lift at 5:30, going to school, training during school in my PE class at school. And then after school, I would go to practice and I would train with my coach. And I did that. And then I would go home and go right to sleep because I had to wake up at 5 a.m. And I was studying film during class. I wasn't drinking, wasn't going out, wasn't doing any of that, eating the best foods possible, continuing to learn about nutrition, continuing to learn about how to train, how to work out, how to fix my technique. And I just did that every single day and stacked it over and over and over and over until I looked up at the end of my high school career. I had state records, state championships. I was ranked top 3 in the country. And then I had a scholarship to go to an SEC school. And then from there, it was just continuing to build on that success. So I became an All-American, school records, helped the team win championships, earn my scholarship, different things like that. And I did that for so long that it just ingrained in me what it was going to take to be successful. It was a narrow focus. It was all encompassing. I almost never went home to my family. I was sleeping 9-10 hours a night, getting all the recovery I could, eating the right foods, studying film, you name it, I was doing it. I wasn't going out, wasn't wasting time. And that taught me the most important lesson is to choose one thing, go all in, and that will teach you everything you need to know moving forward. And that's carried me in my career and starting my business and building a personal brand on social media. So I tell people when you're starting out, choose one thing to go all in on. And the next one, this is going to be a little controversial. But quitting alcohol was probably one of the greatest things I could have done for my life, for my relationships, for my success, whatever it was. We had a lot of family problems with alcohol, growing up in our extended family. Family members pass away because of it. And then I started to see all the negatives that were coming from it. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to use athletics as my excuse to quit alcohol and just ditch it. And that way people will leave me alone when I tell them I'm not drinking at the family get together or whatever it was. But I quit alcohol and it did a lot of different things for me. One, it gave me intense clarity. I wake up every single day with a clear mind, ready to go, ready to train, whatever it is. It drains your energy. It's toxic. And I don't say this to look down on people who drink or anything like that. You do what you want to do. But for me, waking up with clarity, being able to train, not regretting things from the night before, not having this very negative thing on my nutrition and on my body and my life was massive for me. And I say that because if you have different people in your life that are struggling from alcohol and you feel like this is a bad thing for you, if you have an addictive personality, I would ditch it as early as you can. Or maybe be in moderation, do whatever you want that way. But for the most part, I've only seen negatives come from alcohol. So I'm not prescribing this to anybody. I'm telling you, this has been one of the best things for me. And earlier on, I wish it was something that I did. So personally, I look at things from a pros and cons perspective. And when I decided to quit alcohol, I weighed all of them and I wrote them out. And for me personally, the pros far outweigh the cons. And I say this because this can be a lesson applied to anything for you. This could be quitting drugs, porn, whatever it may be that's negatively affecting your life and your relationships. Really dig into those and ask yourself, what are the pros and cons of this thing? Should I leave this behind? Because when you identify what's tearing you down instead of building you up and you leave it in the past, you're going to be light years ahead of where you used to be. I promise you. And the third thing I would go back and tell myself, or something that I've learned, is just to try a bunch of things. And I say this not coming from a place of being reckless. So don't go out and just not take care of your finances, not take care of your family, not take care of your relationships, whatever it is. But try things in a capacity that allow you to understand what you're good at, what you love, what you hate, all of that kind of stuff. So for me personally, I wanted to use my 20s as a trial period until I really found what I wanted to narrow in and focus on. Because I had such an intense love and passion for athletics and track and field, and it gave me purpose. I was competing for a team. I was going after records. I felt important, like I was useful. And I wanted to feel that in whatever I did for a long period of time moving forward. So I used my 20s to really try things and just get engaged, have a wide array of experiences to know I love this, I hate this. And I was even speaking with an Olympian the other day about this because I was feeling a little lost. And I said, I'm trying this, I'm trying that, but I really want to narrow in what I'm meant to do. And I got on the phone with him and he said, when you're an athlete and you have something that you're going after with such intense passion, you're always going to be searching for that as you move forward. So for him, the best thing he ever did was try multiple careers, try multiple things, go back to college, try this sales job, go be an entrepreneur, go be a coach, whatever it may be. So for me, when I had my injury, I rehabbed and came back and shared the whole journey on social media. I decided I wanted to do a lot of different things until I found what I was really meant to do. So that meant I actually was selling door to door right when I graduated college. And then I went to work at a startup. And then I went into strategy consulting. And when I was in strategy consulting, I worked with NASA, I worked with banks, I worked with retail companies, a big private equity firm that held CPG companies. And I was just meeting as many people as I possibly could, hundreds of people in the firm, asking questions. Do you like this? Do you like this? How about this industry? And just trying things. And all this whole time, I was actually coaching. I was doing personal training and coaching at a local college to see, maybe I can make a career in coaching. Maybe I can make a career in being a personal trainer. And I'm going to do the strategy consulting thing. And I ultimately kept note of, I love doing this. I hate doing this. And I would track that weekly. I would say, what kind of tasks did I love? What kind of tasks did I hate? And once I got 2 years into my business career, I said, okay, I want to leave. I want to start a business. What business encapsulates everything that I've loved to do? And that's how I narrowed down what kind of company to start. And from there, it was just, let's keep going. Like, let's build this thing and let's really build this up. And I want you to try a bunch of things, but again, I want you to take care of what's important. So for me, that meant continuing to save and invest, be it ETFs, real estate, in your 401k, an IRA, whatever it is. Take care of yourself, take care of your finances, but try a lot of different things and really try to pinpoint your answer of what you're meant to do. Now, the next one is the importance of relationships with your family, with your significant other, with friends, but also people you encounter in everyday life. So Jesse Itzler always talks about this. The people you grew up with and the people you spend time around with early on are going to become the politicians, the successful business owners. They're going to become the people who are C-suite executives. And you never know what somebody is going to become as they progress. So you want to be treating everybody you come in contact with kindness, with care, with service, because you never know what a relationship is going to come back to when you're down the road in your career working. So I always tell everybody, anybody you have an interaction with, come into contact with, on the street, at the gym, wherever it is, strike up a conversation. Ask what they do, ask what they like, and slowly build this network of relationships of people you never thought you would come in contact with. So for me, I'll give you an example. I was working out at Muscle Beach here in Miami, and I saw this group of guys that looked like they had a great camaraderie. They looked like they were cheering each other on, helping everybody. I just said, they look like great energy. I'm going to go say, hey, I'm going to go meet these guys. Come to find out, they're a Christian group that meets once a week and works out together. They're all fit, and they're all mostly entrepreneurs or career-driven folks. And next thing you know, I had this whole new network in Miami just because I walked up and said, hey, what are y'all up to? And now we meet up weekly. We talk about what we're struggling with, what we're dealing with. We pray together. We bounce things off of each other. And it's all because I just walked up and said, hey. Now that's in the everyday. That's interacting with the world, interacting with people. But make sure you're taking care of your relationships with your family, because your family is number one. And me, that's one of my biggest regrets, is when I was going after athletics and I was going after the goals, I wouldn't always go home. I would say, I need to stay, I need to train, I need to do this. And I look back and there were very important things that I missed that I wish I didn't. And now, and I'm in my late 20s, I'm really prioritizing my relationships with my family, with my significant other, because there are things that you just can't miss and you can't get back. So personally, I think the most important thing for you to invest in is time and relationships and the people that have always been there for you. Because if your parents are still in your life, they're the ones who built you up, who gave you the opportunity to even do any of these things, to even improve yourself. So for me, relationships has been the number one priority moving into my late 20s. And the last thing, this is going to be a no-brainer coming from a former athlete, but you need to take care of your body. Your body is the only thing that you have for your whole life. Your possessions are gone, your career, you can get fired, you can lose the business, whatever it may be. Your body is the only thing that you're going to have. And Warren Buffett's even known to say, if you were to go buy a car and this was the only car that you were going to have for the rest of your life, how would you treat that car? You would get the regular oil changes. You'd be changing all the filters. You would keep that thing clean. You would clean the interior, make sure nothing's ripping, everything. So why would you treat your body any different than a car? So I think for me, choosing a few habits that are just non-negotiables have been the biggest part to keeping a physique, to keeping your health, and keeping your longevity moving forward. So to give you a few examples, for me, that's right when I wake up in the morning, I'm hydrating. I'm drinking 20, 30 ounces of water right when I wake up, and then hydrating as I go throughout the day. 2, eating whole foods as often as you can. I know people travel. I know it's not always easy to get the best foods, but make the right choices most of the days. And even if it's choose the right foods during the weekday, and then on the weekend, allow yourself to cheat a little bit, even better. Doing that, prioritizing protein. So I would even give people, say, try to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. This is kind of a baseline to really allow your body to rebuild and for you to build up. And then other things is just prioritizing your sleep, making sure you can do little things like staying off your phone before you go to bed, having blackout curtains, just different things like that to improve your sleep, because that's where you're going to restore, that's where you're going to recover. And then getting to the gym. This doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but for you to be doing strength training at least twice a week, cardio at least twice a week. That way you have 4 days and that'll carry you, because I know people have priorities. There's different things going on, but really just take a little bit of time to make that investment in yourself, to allow yourself to build your strength, build your endurance, whatever it may be. Because again, your body is the one thing that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And that's it. Nothing else is permanent other than your body. And again, I would tie in the alcohol and the vices and different things there. If there are things that truly make you happy, don't give them up. Keep them in your life in moderation. But for the most part, if you have this feeling of, man, this is really tearing me down, this is not building me up, take those steps to eliminate some of those things from your life. But as I've continued through life, I see my health as one of the most important things for me to pay attention to. And athletics taught me that, but even just going through life and having energy to work hard, to have energy to go out and meet people, it's all a product of me doing these little habits and taking care of my body day in and day out. To close it out, I'll give you the 5 things that I wish I knew, or the 5 things that I would focus on in my 20s again. So 1 is doing one thing until you find uber success in it. 2, I wish I ditched alcohol earlier in my life. 3, your 20s are for trying things, finding what you like, finding what you're good at. 4, relationships and meeting people and treating people with respect are the most important things you're going to do in your life. And 5, always take care of your body, because it is the one thing that you truly own. So I'm going to be continuing to share different lessons learned as I progress in my journey. If this is something that you got value from or you liked, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to keep the lessons flowing. So thank you. Cheers.